Is Leah Thomas or William Thomas biologically stronger than the competitors that she was against?
I don't know about that specific situation.
So there's a lot in arms right now. I mean, it's election year. There's typically always going to be debates, people fighting, people disagreeing. Well, this particular topic here with the transgender community has been an argument that has been going on for quite some time. And I can honestly say the biggest challenge is that no one can really understand what this whole thing is about. Like, why are they so up in arms? You're getting ready to see a clip of a feminist who is really trying to prove her point in this whole transgender thing and who is a woman and what is a woman, and she can't even really answer it. And it's kind of the same scenario for every and anyone who's in that community who's trying to fight for what they believe in, but they can't even really explain to us adequately what it is that they believe in and that what they're standing on. Let's get into this clip. We'll talk about it throughout. Here we go.
Hello. What would you say to feminists, specifically those I think you would consider biological women who are in support of trans women being able to access historically women's spaces like female bathrooms and being able to participate in women's sports?
Okay, what would I say? Let me ask, are you one of those feminists?
I am.
Oh, okay. Lucky guess. What is a woman?
Somebody who identifies as a woman.
So can I become a woman?
Do you have gender dysphoria?
Thankfully, no.
Then
Gender dysphoria isn't anything. I believe that is just terminology, something that they use to try and attach some sort of logic to their reasoning. But it's not a thing. I mean, when we're born, if we could just be honest, when we're born, we're either man or we're either woman. We're either boy or either girl. When the gender reveal parties happen that everyone is trending out about, the powder is either blue or it's pink. There's no nude powder. There's no white powder to signify anything that something might be different. On the birth certificate of every child, it's either an M or an F. There's no NB for non-binary. There's no either NA for non-applicable. It's M or it's F. Unless they can prove and explain and give us reasons otherwise, it has always been either male or female. There is no gender dysphoria. People are born with different disadvantages. Absolutely. But there's one thing's for sure. It's either a boy that was born with disadvantages or a girl that was born with disadvantages. That's it. That's all. Let's keep this going.
no.
Oh, but so only if you have gender dysphoria you can identify as a woman?
It's a medical condition.
It's a medical condition. So anyone at any time can become a woman?
No. Because
Well, anyone could have gender dysphoria. It's you claim it upon yourself. You know what? I'm actually thinking I might actually have gender dysphoria. So can I become a
Well,
woman?
I wish you the best in your transition, and I hope that society accepts you.
So let me ask you a question. What is cheating?
What is cheating? I can pull up a dictionary definition.
No, like give an example. Maybe taking something from somebody, or a strong person, maybe using their power against the weak.
Sure. Somebody
Okay.
using their power against the weak.
Got it. Okay. Is Leah Thomas or William Thomas biologically stronger than the competitors that she was against?
I don't know about that specific situation. Probably because she is number one.
Won the national title.
Yes.
Okay.
Won the
after
national title.
after the transition, right? Okay. Is that fair?
Yes.
So the other women against the man were born with less bone density, lower testosterone levels. What are they supposed to do to make it even?
Before you hear her ramble on, it was a very interesting question there that he asked to put out, because you have these people in the transgender community who are having these gender transformations. And you have men, biological men, someone who once looked like me, transforming themselves to look like a woman, and then they're going and competing against other biological women who have always been women. Not that they've transformed, not that they went through change because they had gender dysphoria. No. And he asked her, was it fair? She said yes. This is when I say that even that community as a whole, because the people on this side, if you agree with me, you're on this side over here with me. We all agree that it just doesn't exist. It's not real. It's wrong. You know, we just have that understanding. But the people on the opposing side, they don't even have a collective understanding, because she, in her own answer, when he asked her, is that fair that a biological man who transitioned himself, if you will, into being a woman, compete with other biological women who have not transitioned, have different genetic makeups, have different biological makeups, at the end of the day, different chromosomes? She said, yes, that's fair. But there's even people who are in those levels of competitive sports that complain about it, because that she, that man, because it is a man, could potentially continue winning all the medals, all the championships, all the titles, receiving all the accolades. Why? Because by nature, whether we want to agree with it or not, whether that side wants to agree with it or accept it or not, as men, we are naturally stronger, more physically equipped, if you will. So no, the correct answer is that it is not fair. But what happens is that people are so stuck in their own narratives, in their own way of thinking, that even when they're presented with logic like this young man is trying to do for her right now, they reject it and they rebuttal. Let's keep this going.
I would not know on that specific situation.
Right, so there's nothing they can do because men have more testosterone, muscle mass, and bone density. So wouldn't that be cheating?
I feel like I'm being pulled into a trap, and I'm going to step away.
No, it's not a trap. No, it's not. I mean, just one sec. It's a very simple moral question, right?
Very simple question. Remember how I told you that when you present someone who knows that they're in some sort of a false reality, false narrative, whatever the case may be, when you present them with a logical question, they would feel that they're being backed up against a corner. Well, you are being backed up against a corner because there's nowhere else to go besides answer the question. And in answering the question, you're either going to admit your own stupidity, if you will, your own lack of intelligence, or you are going to then prove my point by answering it the correct way. Because there really only is one right answer, which is why she decided not to answer. Because she processed it in her own head and said, this is going to destroy every argument I tried to have up here, and I'm going to either have to conform to what I now will know is the correct way to think about this in front of a bunch of people if I answer this question, or be proven that I'm going to stay stuck and stagnant in my own stupidity. Guys, it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you, man. Take heed. I'm not trying to bash the community or anything, but we have to make this make sense. And right now, it just doesn't make sense. And anytime someone in the community is asked a direct question to try and make it make sense for us, they don't have an answer. Let's keep this going.
So if someone is stronger and was born that way, is able to compete against people that are not as strong because they're born that way, wouldn't that be the textbook definition of cheating?
I don't know about that one. I'm going to step away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask you one more question, though?
Yes.
Okay. So you're a feminist, and you say anyone who has gender dysphoria can transition to become a woman at any time. That's your position?
Sure.
Okay. Do you think chromosomes have anything to do with determining what a female is?
Yes.
Okay, so then where does the gender dysphoria come into place?
I think that sex and gender are different things.
Right, but then what is a woman?
Somebody who identifies as a woman.
So anyone can be a woman at any single time.
You've asked me this question. It's still no.
Got it. And you're a feminist?
I am.
So who are you trying to
Still
protect?
true. What was that?
What women are you trying to protect?
Women. All women.
That you
Regardless
can't define?
of whether or not they've transitioned.
Whether or not they've transitioned.
Yes.
Well, I wish you well in the coming situation where now, as a feminist, you're going to have to live under the tyranny of men who think they're women. Thank you for being here tonight.
Exactly. Thank you. And it doesn't make sense, because if a woman is not someone who can be a woman at any given time, which is really what you guys are displaying in that community, then what is a woman? That's what was so confusing to me, because I mean, he was asking the right questions. Like, okay, and she said, I support all women, whether they've transitioned or not. So if the transition isn't the determining factor of whether or not the woman is a woman, and a woman doesn't have to be transitioned, they just have to have gender dysphoria, which is a self-proclaimed diagnosis, I guess, if you will, then what he's saying is right. But why don't they just want to admit that? Why do they want to make it seem like this is something that has been around for years and that they've just been misunderstood, and we need to go back in science or whatever the case may be to see what it is with this particular type of a person, because they're not straight, but they're not this, and they're not man, but they're not woman. No, bro, this is all just created. To me, it's sick behavior, bro. And I think a lot of it deserves a lot of prayer. A lot of it deserves a lot of one-on-one conversation with Christ. And most importantly, bro, it needs to stop, because it just doesn't make sense. And I say that, in the most polite way possible. But the proof was in the pudding right here. Simple questions can't be answered on it because, bro, it's unrealistic in my honest, humble opinion. That's all I got for you guys, man. Appreciate you guys as always for staying all the way to the end. To the next one, y'all. I'm out. Don't forget to get your copy of Matters of Life by clicking the link in the description today.